What if the first thing you drink each morning could lower your blood sugar for the rest of the day without any pills, powders, or side effects? Sounds too simple to be true, but here's what new diabetes research reveals. Your very first sip after waking sets the tone for your insulin response, your appetite, and even your A1C. And while many people start their day with coffee, juice, or sugary drinks, these often spike cortisol, dehydrate your cells, and cause early glucose crashes, especially dangerous for diabetics. But three overlooked morning drinks, backed by ancient tradition and modern science, can actually stabilize your fasting glucose, reduce insulin resistance, protect your kidneys, and fuel you without a single gram of sugar. In today's video, you'll discover the top 3 best morning drinks every diabetic must try. Watch till the end for a healing recipe and one tip most people miss. First on list, water. Every diabetic's morning should begin with something so simple, so overlooked, that most people don't even consider it medicine. Plain water. And yet, water is the most essential, underrated blood sugar balancing drink available, especially in those first few moments after waking. During the night, your body enters a mild state of dehydration. You lose moisture through breathing, skin evaporation, and urine. This dehydration thickens your blood, concentrates glucose, and makes it harder for insulin to do its job efficiently. For people with diabetes, this effect is even more pronounced. Without enough water, your kidneys can't properly flush out excess glucose, leading to higher fasting blood sugar levels and increased strain on the pancreas. But one glass of water, just 8 to 12 ounces, taken within 15 to 30 minutes of waking, can instantly trigger a cascade of healing effects throughout your system. It begins with dilution. Water thins the plasma in your blood, which helps reduce the concentration of glucose circulating in the bloodstream. This makes it easier for insulin to escort glucose into your cells and reduces the burden on the kidneys, which are already working overtime in diabetics to eliminate excess sugar. Research has shown that even mild dehydration, just 1 to 2% of body weight, can increase blood glucose levels and reduce insulin sensitivity by as much as 15%. That means simply skipping water in the morning can make your medications or dietary changes work less effectively. More importantly, hydration directly affects the hormones that regulate appetite, energy, and metabolism. For example, the hormone vasopressin, which rises when you're dehydrated, has been linked to increased blood sugar and insulin resistance. Morning hydration lowers vasopressin, helping to reset your endocrine rhythm and calm your internal glucose clock. One lesser-known benefit of morning hydration is its effect on the liver. Many diabetics suffer from what's known as the dawn phenomenon, a natural early morning spike in blood sugar caused by the liver releasing stored glucose to wake up the body. But this can become exaggerated in people with type 2 diabetes, leading to fasting glucose levels above 130 milligrams per deciliter. Drinking water first thing helps signal the body that it's safe to switch out of that stress mode. It dilutes cortisol, helps deactivate the liver's over-response, and gently encourages glucose uptake instead of glucose dumping. And it doesn't stop there. Water also stimulates peristalsis, the wave-like contractions in your digestive tract, helping you empty your bowels more effectively, reduce bloating, and absorb nutrients more smoothly throughout the day. This is especially important for diabetics with gastroparesis or nerve-related digestive delays. Here's something rarely discussed. Your kidneys filter nearly 50 gallons of blood every single day, and they rely heavily on water to perform that job. In diabetics, where the kidneys are often under metabolic stress due to elevated glucose, consistent hydration helps delay the progression of diabetic nephropathy. It lightens the burden, reduces oxidative stress on the glomeruli, the filtering units, and improves creatinine clearance. In fact, long-term studies have shown that people with better hydration status had slower declines in kidney function over time, even when controlling for age, blood sugar, and medication. Water also supports nerve health by maintaining electrolyte balance, particularly sodium and potassium, which are vital for transmitting signals. Without enough water, nerve endings can become hypersensitive, leading to tingling, burning, and numbness, classic symptoms of diabetic neuropathy. Let's talk about insulin response. When you're dehydrated, blood volume drops, and the pancreas may have a harder time sensing rising blood sugar levels. This delays insulin release and worsens insulin resistance. On the flip side, drinking water improves cellular hydration and allows glucose transporters like GLUT4 to move more efficiently. This means more glucose gets pulled out of the bloodstream and into muscle and fat cells, where it can be used for energy. For those tracking their A1C, even small changes in daily water intake, especially first thing in the morning, can translate to improvements in average blood sugar over 3 to 6 months. It's not magic, it's metabolic science. Now here's a simple but powerful morning routine. Start your day with 10 ounces of room temperature water, add a squeeze of fresh lemon, and if your kidneys are healthy, include a pinch of pink Himalayan salt. The lemon provides vitamin C and polyphenols that improve liver detoxification and reduce inflammation, while the salt adds trace minerals like magnesium and potassium, two electrolytes commonly deficient in people with diabetes. This combination not only hydrates, but also supports adrenal function and balances morning cortisol levels, which can otherwise disrupt glucose regulation. And for those looking to improve digestion and bowel regularity, adding 1/2 teaspoon of chia seeds can introduce soluble fiber that gels in the stomach and slows the absorption of sugars from your first meal. Here's a fun fact. Your brain is over 70% water, and studies show that even mild dehydration in the morning can impair memory, focus, and decision-making. For diabetics who are already at increased risk for cognitive decline and dementia, starting the day with water is one of the easiest ways to protect brain function. It also stabilizes mood by regulating serotonin production and reducing inflammation in the hippocampus. And let's not forget circulation. Good hydration improves microvascular blood flow, which benefits the eyes, skin, and extremities, areas commonly affected in long-term diabetes. One common myth needs clearing up. Many people believe that water flushes out sugar immediately after drinking it. That's only partially true. While it doesn't neutralize glucose on contact, it does help your kidneys eliminate excess sugar through urine more efficiently. Think of it as supporting your body's natural filtration system rather than acting like a sponge. And another misconception is that cold water is better in the morning. In reality, room temperature or warm water is easier on your digestive system, especially for people with weak digestion, slow gut motility, or metabolic sluggishness. Cold water can shock the system and slow down early morning enzymatic activity. An important morning tip: don't gulp. Sip your water slowly over 5 to 10 minutes. This allows better absorption, prevents bloating, and keeps your stomach calm before your first meal. And if you're on blood pressure medications, spacing your water intake 30 to 60 minutes before your pill can help reduce orthostatic hypotension or dizziness. For those on insulin or sulfonylureas, drinking water before food can also help prevent reactive hypoglycemia by preparing your gut to absorb nutrients at a steadier pace. Here's a morning recipe to try. In a glass, mix 10 ounces of room temperature water, juice of 1/2 lemon, 1/4 teaspoon of pink salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of chia seeds. Stir well and let it sit for 5 minutes before sipping. This hydrates, mineralizes, adds gentle fiber, and gives your metabolism a refreshing reset. One gentle reminder: don't overdo it. Overhydrating can dilute your electrolytes and stress your kidneys, especially if you have stage 3 or higher kidney disease. Aim for 8 to 12 ounces in the morning, then continue sipping water throughout the day. Ideally, half your body weight in ounces total, adjusted for activity and climate. For example, a 160-pound person might aim for 80 ounces daily, spread out in small sips. In short, water is not just a filler, it's a fundamental. It regulates glucose, supports the kidneys, protects nerves, improves digestion, and sets the tone for every system in the diabetic body. Second on list, plant-based milks. If there's one food group that diabetics have been told to fear in the morning, it's milk. For decades, full-fat dairy and cow's milk have been labeled as blood sugar disruptors, largely due to their lactose content and insulin-raising effect, even when they contain little actual sugar. But there's a smarter, science-backed alternative that's now transforming diabetic breakfasts across the country: unsweetened plant-based milks. These creamy, low-carb, nutrient-enhanced drinks deliver the richness of milk without the insulin spikes, and they've quickly become a staple in the diabetic pantry. Whether it's almond, soy, flax, cashew, or even pea-based milk. The right version, when chosen carefully, can help lower fasting glucose, improve insulin sensitivity, and provide a steady morning energy boost without causing sugar crashes or cravings. Let's start with the numbers. An 8-ounce serving of unsweetened almond milk typically contains 30 to 40 calories, less than 2 grams of carbohydrates, and 0 added sugar. Compare that to cow's milk, which carries around 12 grams of natural sugar per cup, enough to elevate blood glucose, especially in the morning when insulin sensitivity is already fluctuating. Unsweetened soy milk, on the other hand, delivers a bit more protein, 6 to 8 grams per cup, while still keeping carbs below 4 grams and sugars under 1 gram. These numbers are critical because diabetics need to keep their net carbs low in the morning to prevent insulin surges and maintain metabolic flexibility throughout the day. And unlike juices, cereals, or toast, plant-based milks don't push your pancreas into overdrive. They give you hydration, satiety, protein, and micronutrients without overstimulating your insulin response. But it's not just about carbs. Unsweetened plant-based milks are often fortified with nutrients that support diabetic healing in surprising ways. For example, most almond and flax milks are fortified with calcium, up to 450 milligrams per cup or 35% of the daily value, and vitamin D, 25% of the daily value, two nutrients that regulate insulin signaling and beta cell health in the pancreas. Deficiency in vitamin D has been linked to insulin resistance, poor glycemic control, and increased risk of type 2 diabetes complications like neuropathy and retinopathy. Some brands also add vitamin B12 and magnesium, both of which play key roles in nerve health and glucose metabolism. Magnesium in particular, when paired with plant-based fat, can improve insulin receptor sensitivity and reduce A1C levels over time. Now here's what makes these drinks especially powerful in the morning. They calm the hunger hormone ghrelin. When you wake up, your body is often in a slightly cortisol-elevated state, a natural effect known as the dawn phenomenon. This cortisol surge triggers both blood glucose release and hunger cravings. Most people reach for coffee, which temporarily suppresses appetite but worsens cortisol and dehydrates the body. But sipping 6 to 8 ounces of plant-based milk, especially with cinnamon or ground flax, can calm ghrelin, gently nourish the gut, and provide the creamy satisfaction of a small meal without spiking insulin. That's key for people who skip breakfast or do intermittent fasting. You get nourishment, not inflammation. There's another hidden benefit: gut microbiome support. Some studies show that unsweetened soy milk, oat milk in small amounts, and flax milk contain prebiotic fibers and plant lignans that feed good gut bacteria like bifidobacteria and Akkermansia. These microbes help reduce gut inflammation, improve GLP-1 secretion, and enhance short-chain fatty acid production, all of which aid in blood sugar control, weight loss, and insulin sensitivity. In one study, diabetics who consumed unsweetened soy milk daily for 8 weeks showed an 18% improvement in fasting insulin levels and reduced markers of oxidative stress in the gut. Now let's clarify a myth. Many people believe that all plant-based milks are healthy. That's not true. The vast majority of flavored or sweetened plant milks, especially vanilla, chocolate, and barista style, contain between 6 to 15 grams of added sugar per cup. That's more than a donut, and it can instantly derail your morning glucose stability. Always look for the word unsweetened on the label, and check the ingredient list for carrageenan, a thickening agent that has been linked to gut irritation and inflammatory bowel symptoms. Also avoid brands with added sunflower oil or gums that may trigger digestive issues or raise LDL cholesterol in sensitive individuals. A simple healing morning recipe: combine 8 ounces of unsweetened almond milk, 1/4 teaspoon ground cinnamon, and 1/2 teaspoon ground flaxseed. Stir well and warm slightly if desired. This creamy, blood sugar-friendly drink delivers antioxidants, healthy fats, and fiber to keep your glucose stable and appetite controlled. Cinnamon mimics insulin and slows gastric emptying, while flaxseed adds lignans that protect blood vessels and the kidneys. If you prefer soy milk, pair it with a pinch of turmeric and black pepper for anti-inflammatory and liver-supportive effects. Great for diabetics with fatty liver or elevated liver enzymes. Now here's a fun fact. Almond milk has been consumed since medieval times, not as a diet trend, but as a staple for those with poor digestion. Its naturally low allergenicity and absence of lactose made it a trusted drink in ancient hospitals for healing the gut. Today, that same principle applies to diabetics, especially seniors with slow digestion or dairy sensitivity. And interestingly, the low protein in almond milk actually benefits diabetics with kidney concerns. It allows you to hydrate and nourish without overburdening renal filtration, particularly in those with early nephropathy. An often overlooked advantage of plant-based milks is their effect on skin and eye health. Almond milk is naturally rich in vitamin E, 20 to 50% of the daily value per serving, a powerful antioxidant that protects blood vessels and nerves in the eyes, reduces oxidative stress in the retina, and supports skin elasticity. This is especially important for diabetics who experience dry skin, brittle nails, or vision disturbances due to glycation and capillary damage. Flax milk also contains omega-3 fats, which reduce inflammation and support nerve repair. Here's a common mistake to avoid. Don't drink plant-based milk alongside heavy high-carb meals like toast, pancakes, or cereals. This combination can lead to delayed glucose spikes because the fat in the milk slows digestion, but doesn't cancel out the carbs. Instead, use it as a standalone drink 30 minutes before eating, or pair it with low-glycemic snacks like chia pudding, boiled eggs, or a handful of raw almonds. And here's one gentle caution. Watch the sodium content. Some commercial plant milks, especially soy or oat-based, can contain 100 to 200 milligrams of sodium per cup. For people with high blood pressure or cardiovascular risk, this can be cumulative over the day. Choose low-sodium versions and avoid using multiple fortified beverages in the same morning. Third on list, unsweetened teas. If there's one category of morning drink that blends ancient wisdom with modern science, it's tea. But not just any tea, unsweetened, herbal, or lightly caffeinated teas that work in harmony with your metabolism. While coffee often gets the spotlight, especially for its alertness boost, it can come with unwanted side effects for diabetics, like increased cortisol, jitteriness, digestive discomfort, and even blood sugar spikes in caffeine-sensitive individuals. Unsweetened teas, on the other hand, offer a gentle, focused energy without triggering insulin surges, while delivering potent plant compounds that actually lower blood glucose, reduce inflammation, heal the gut, and calm the nervous system, all before your first bite of breakfast. Let's begin with one of the most powerful, cinnamon tea. A cup of unsweetened cinnamon tea first thing in the morning can mimic the function of insulin itself. Compounds like cinnamaldehyde and MHCP, methyl hydroxychalcone polymer, in cinnamon act on insulin receptors, increasing glucose uptake in your muscle cells and improving insulin sensitivity. Studies have shown that daily cinnamon consumption can reduce fasting blood sugar by 10 to 29% in people with type 2 diabetes. When brewed into a tea and consumed warm, it also slows gastric emptying and reduces post-meal glucose spikes, meaning it prepares your body for a smoother response to breakfast. Another excellent choice is ginger tea, which supports digestion, improves gut motility, and reduces insulin resistance by modulating inflammatory pathways. Gingerol, the active compound in ginger, helps stimulate AMPK, an enzyme that plays a key role in glucose uptake and fat burning. This is crucial in the morning when your metabolism is just waking up. Drinking unsweetened ginger tea within 30 minutes of rising helps set the tone for a more responsive metabolic day, especially if you're battling insulin resistance or abdominal fat. Let's also talk about green tea, a low-caffeine option that still offers clarity and focus without overstimulating the nervous system. Green tea is rich in catechins, particularly EGCG, epigallocatechin galati, which improve insulin activity, enhance fat metabolism, and reduce oxidative stress in the pancreas. A cup of green tea in the morning may lower fasting blood glucose by up to 8% after consistent use, but the real magic is in its longer-term benefits. Green tea supports endothelial function, improves circulation, and protects the tiny blood vessels in the kidneys and eyes, both of which are commonly damaged in long-term diabetes. And if you're dealing with elevated triglycerides or fatty liver, Green tea can help lower liver enzymes and improve lipid profiles. One underrated tea is tulsi, also known as holy basil. This adaptogenic herb is especially valuable in the morning for diabetics dealing with fatigue, stress, or adrenal imbalance. Tulsi lowers cortisol naturally, stabilizes blood sugar, and supports thyroid function. Drinking Tulsi tea in the morning helps calm the nervous system, reduce blood pressure, and create a centered feeling of energy without the caffeine crash. It also supports immune function and has anti-inflammatory effects that help protect your pancreatic beta cells, the very cells responsible for insulin production. Here's how these teas affect your body within the first hour of drinking them. They stimulate mild thermogenesis, increased calorie burning, calm your sympathetic nervous system, and enhance gut-brain signaling. That's important because the morning is when cortisol, your stress hormone, naturally peaks. If you add caffeine or sugar into the mix, you may inadvertently spike blood sugar even further. But these teas act as metabolic buffers, balancing cortisol, reducing hepatic glucose output from the liver, and lowering the glucose burden before food even enters the system. Now let's clear up a common myth. Many people assume that herbal teas are too weak to have any real effect on blood sugar. But in reality, herbal teas often contain concentrated phytonutrients, and when consumed consistently, their effects are cumulative. Think of them as micromedicines that work in the background, gradually repairing insulin signaling, reducing inflammation, and healing tissues. For example, hibiscus tea, another unsweetened option, is rich in anthocyanins that protect blood vessels, lower blood pressure, and support kidney filtration, making it ideal for diabetics with early nephropathy or hypertension. Here's a recipe idea you can use tomorrow morning. Boil 1 cup, 10 ounces of water, add 1 cinnamon stick, 4 to 5 thin slices of fresh ginger, and a few holy basil leaves or a tulsi tea bag. Let it steep for 7 to 10 minutes, then strain and sip slowly on an empty stomach. This combination supports digestion, lowers morning cortisol, increases insulin sensitivity, and prepares your body for a balanced breakfast. You can also pre-boil a larger batch the night before and store it in a thermos or glass jar, making your morning routine quicker and more consistent. Now here's a powerful research insight. A 2023 study found that people with prediabetes who consume green tea and cinnamon tea on alternating mornings for 6 weeks saw a 13% reduction in fasting glucose, improved triglycerides, and reduced inflammatory markers like CRP and TNF-alpha. These benefits didn't come from pills, medications, or powders, just from steeping plants in hot water and using them consistently. The simplicity is part of the power. A fun fact worth sharing: tea is the second most consumed beverage on earth after water. But in traditional Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine, it's considered more than hydration. It's a vehicle for delivering healing. In fact, monks and fasting practitioners often used herbal teas to extend clarity, reduce hunger, and maintain metabolic balance for days without food. For diabetics who struggle with morning cravings, blood sugar swings, or fatigue, that ancient wisdom now finds new value in the form of sugar-free tea rituals. Now for one gentle caution, always go unsweetened. Even a teaspoon of honey, maple syrup, or diabetic-safe sweeteners like stevia or erythritol can alter your insulin signaling in the morning. Studies have shown that sweet taste alone, even from zero-calorie sweeteners, can trigger cephalic phase insulin release, meaning your brain tells the pancreas to start secreting insulin even when no sugar is present. This can create insulin confusion, delayed hunger, or rebound blood sugar drops. The best way to benefit from these teas is to drink them pure, warm, and slow. Another helpful tip: sip your tea 10 to 20 minutes before eating rather than with your meal. This allows the polyphenols and antioxidants to activate your metabolism without interfering with food absorption. If you're taking metformin or insulin, wait at least 30 minutes after drinking tea before consuming medication to avoid any minor absorption interactions. And for those with acid reflux, ginger and tulsi tea tend to be the most stomach-soothing options, while green tea should be consumed with caution if you're prone to GERD. And if you're looking for variation, consider rotating your morning tea schedule. For example, Monday and Thursday, cinnamon tea. Tuesday and Friday, ginger or tulsi. Wednesday and Saturday, green tea. Sunday, a hibiscus detox blend. This pattern provides different antioxidants each day, stimulates different enzyme systems, and keeps your taste buds engaged without sugar. Start your day with one of these healing drinks and take the first step toward better blood sugar. If this helped you, tap like, hit subscribe to Diabetes Healthcare, and share it with someone who needs it. One small change can transform your morning.